Little Things That Add Up to Wintertime Comfort, based on a pamphlet by the Ohio Department of Development. It's easier and cheaper to heat your body than to get a divorce. Dress warmly indoors. Sweaters, toe socks, white ski masks with mouths outlined in red. Layers of clothing provide better protection against cold than a single layer of thick infidelity. Higher humidity helps you tolerate lower thermostat settings as well. If you don't have a humidifier installed at birth or in some small Church of Christ down your grandmother's holler, try setting pans of mea culpas on radiators or near guilt registers to increase the winter humidity level in your home. Nothing works against the dryness of pride and lust like guilt and accepting responsibility for someone else's failings. You may not want to consider this measure if you have small children in your home due to potential esteem hazards. Lower your thermostat at night and sleep under layers of blankets, like the wedding quilt your grandmother made you. Seeing all the fabric scraps from her old polyester pantsuits will be all the warmth you need. Will keep you safe in your bed at night. Don't set the thermostat at a higher setting than normal when you wake up in the morning. Your husband will not warm up faster. On sunny days, keep hearts and flowers open all the way on south-facing windows. It's free heating. Hearts should be tightly closed at night and on overcast days to cut heat loss. Do not expend yourself trying to cut the dark when sealing yourself tight against it is quicker and more energy efficient. Move romantic comedies, cosmos, or other items that block air circulation away from heating outlets and return air grills to prevent interference. Clean or replace the filter in your system once a month during the heating season, or more frequently if your husband is extremely dusty. Do what you can to help the flow, but do not force it. Plug leaks, batten down the hatches, and put on a wool sweater. These simple steps will help ensure that you and your household budget make it safely and warmly to the spring. That prose poem originally appeared in the journal Fugue in, let's see, what year was this? I am not seeing the year. Oh, 2011? It was 2011. 2011. It was the play issue. I have a couple different things to say about the poem, but I'm going to start with saying a thing about the journal it appeared in. Fugue is a really cool journal, and they made the decision that particular year to allow Michael Martone to have footnotes on other people's works that had nothing to do. And if you read the footnotes, you sort of got a piece. It only sort of made sense to me at the time. I have not reread it, but my poem was one that got Martoned. That there was a footnote K on mine, says MM on deck. The bad knee he has taken in the circle grinds into something buried in the dirt. A lead ball player, a batter swinging two bats in pinstripes, no less. Was just tacked on as a footnote. And for me, I was a second year PhD student, first year PhD student, somewhere around in there. I was just like, I'm associated with a big author. Although, why did they do that, right? Because they didn't ask. They just did it. And so for me, I was like, that's cool. I'm associated with a big writer. But what I was kind of miffed about was it just had Jennifer Kanke. It didn't have Jennifer Schomburg Kanke. And I was like, but whatever. But other people who were in it, not happy. So like Dinty Moore is in here, and it happened to one of his pieces, and Leah Papura also happened to one of hers. And so they wrote a bunch of sort of blog post op-ed articles about why this was a terrible thing to do. And I'm assuming you can probably still find them online. So if you want to look them up, if you want to see 12-year-old literary gossip, or no, it's not really gossip, is it? That's not gossip. that's more literary history. Is it history at this point? I don't know. Yeah, but if you are interested in that and finding out and thinking about the implications of people who want to create mayhem, because we're Meter and Mayhem, so a little mayhem there. People who enjoy creating mayhem in the literary world versus people who would prefer to be left out of that kind of mayhem. You can check that out. You can give some thoughts to that. If you read them, if you go back and read those things and you are interested in talking about it, feel free to stick something down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about the concept of randomly putting, I'm assuming it's random, because they didn't, I didn't feel like a connection between the different footnotes with whatever they were put on, so it feels sort of random. So, you know, is that cool? Is that not cool? What do y'all think? Again, like I said, I was an early PhD student when this came out, and so I was just like, oh yeah. I mean, whatever. So should I talk about the impetus for the poem itself? I don't know. I think any couple who has been together a long time has you have your moments, you have your struggles. I think that the struggles are particularly pronounced when you have people coming from homes that don't have good open communication about wants, needs, and boundaries. That when you have two people who are coming from a home like that, trying to have a life together and build a marriage together, it can be rough. It can be rough. So when this came out, I wrote this when I was in my master's program at Ohio University. So I had been married not yet 10 years, I think, maybe around 10, between 9 and 10. And that whole time was rough. Like, I think from probably year 8, I'm going to say year 8 to year 15 was rough. That was like 7 years. Shit. That's a long time. That's for other poems, other videos. But I think this was a fun thing to do, that I had been Googling things as I was working on my, not Googling, all my librarian friends, please don't come at me, because it was the library catalog search. Don't come at me that I said Google. Anyway, I was searching through the library catalog just for anything that had to do with, I think, comfort, because I was working on my thesis and they wanted me to bulk it up with some more poems. And I came across the title, which was Little Things That Add Up to Wintertime Comfort. And I was like, that's an amazing title. What is that? I was like, oh, that's a pamphlet about how to winterize your home and how to keep your heating bills lower. Okay. And I had a good time. That was fun. It was a fun process. You guys don't need to see that. Why am I opening it up like I'm like a kindergarten teacher showing you the book I'm reading? This is not Reading Rainbow. Although I do have butterflies. That was part of the fall sale at, I think, Joann's, maybe? Did I get the butterflies? Joann's or Michael's one. All the fall sales where you can get cool stuff for, 75% off or whatever. And they matched my bulletin board. I'm going to clean that up back there some point, because I have new artwork. If you have checked out if you actually go to the channel, the banner and the icon are this great raccoon reading a book that says Meter and Mayhem that Dogzil Art did a commission for me to make that raccoon, and it's amazing. And she gave me the actual original charcoal and chalk drawing. So I want to clean it up back there and put it up there. But then I would lose like my you know, like my memento mori and memento mori. Like my memento mori. And my like, what is that? Is that like a cat? Is that a cat? Is it a person? It's got like cat body bits, but then it's got like it's got like people nose and eyes. I'm sure it's not photoshopped. But anyway, I'm gonna clean that up at some point. That was me distracting away from other topics that might come up from the poem, stopping me from going too deep into them. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.